Good afternoon, everyone. It's a beautiful day. I was talking to one of my great associates, Mr. Mathewson, great individual. Met him at Lawrence Dunbar Middle School. Great individual. Want to talk to him about him on another video. However, this particular video is dedicated to Dr. Terrell. Dr. Terrell was an individual who I had met at CASA, uh, and this was a school that had been before called Walbrook Junction High School, what we call on the Junction in Baltimore City. And the reason why I want to dedicate this to Dr. Terrell was because she would always tell me that to know that if I had a purpose, to follow my purpose and stay focused on that because of what I was doing. Uh, Dr. Terrell was also the what's called the IEP, which is the Individualized Education Program Coordinator. She was an individual of many hats. Definitely, easily could have been a principal, master teacher, and an individual who could have taught principals how to become principals. I just wanted to dedicate that to you, Dr. Terrell, because without you, I couldn't be who I am today. So ordinarily, I would get right to the reading. However, I wanted to share that I had gotten with a couple of my colleagues. In particular, I have this one colleague that back in the day, she was a Black Panther in the Black Panther Party, and she would share with me what happened back during that time of day and how the situation was then and how it is now. And I would remember going to her classes and I would see how much the individuals that she was dealing with that she had on lock. I mean, just an outstanding educator. And this was at Frederick Douglass High School, which is across from Mondawmin Mall. Again, this is in Baltimore City. And definitely getting back to Dr. Terrell, just wanted to say regarding her that she was one of the kind of individuals that I could always come to, communicate with her, share my true thoughts, and she would definitely chair and I would co-chair any type of IEP meetings with uh, what we call the headquarter officials and or and sometimes at the same time parents and students. So it was very intense. Dr. Terrell, thank you so very much. I'm going to go ahead and get right to the reading. So much I'd like to say. Just want to stay on task. Thank you, Dr. Terrell. Mind in action. Life is dynamic. All about you are the manifold evidences of nature's eternal process of becoming things. Nothing remains the same. Whenever you look, wherever you look, your eye sees movement, flow, and change. Birth and death are the rhythms by which nature reaches ever upward, seeking, constantly seeking. Know, learn, build. These commands issue from every bud, egg, flower, bush, tree. The idea today is to really understand the real you. Don't confuse what you seem to be with what you really are. To the real you, the indwelling self, the observer in the depths of your soul, nothing is impossible. Give heed to this dweller. Give him homage, respect, and humility. Your body is his temple. Would you surround it with evil and disease, want, lack, and failure? The universe is all vigor, all health, and all abundance. What you choose to accept and think, you will see. What you seem to be is but the barest fraction of what you really are. What you seem to be is but the barest fraction of what you really are. Refuse to think of yourself as a name, as a holder of a job, as a person who resides in a certain town, in a certain country, on a certain date, as a person who has had a certain history. That is what you seem to be. In the solitude of silent room, in a shaded glen, on a hillside, in a meadow, on a crag, overlooking the ocean, turn your thoughts within to the real you. Slow your breathing until you feel complete peace and relaxation. Retreat into the depths of your being until your very thoughts are things to be observed. Ask yourself, who is this that observes? The real you is a mighty truth, a clarion call in the greatest age of man. Let the spiritual element rule your life. Give each of your problems to universal subconscious mind and listen for the answer. When the answer comes, accept it with complete confidence and faith. Do not allow negations to steal into your mind like thieves in the night, for they will rob you of your greatest treasures. Close your mind to all evil, to all lack, to all limitation, to all disease. And to your consciousness come the most important thing of all things, your thoughts. They come not merely to visit with you, they come to take root and make themselves known as the physical things of your life. Bar the door to all negation. Post a permanent centennial in letters bold and black. None but the positive and the good shall enter here into my mind. And thus will your life be like. Mutual exchange is the law. See the movement and flow of life as a great exchange between all things. All things must be paid for. Mutual exchange is the law. You get because you give. You sell only so you can buy. There is no such thing as independence. It is an hallucination of the most foolish sort. We are all dependent upon one another, for we are all component parts of a great whole. You cannot live without your neighbor, and he cannot live without you. What you contribute to him, he will return in measure to you. Perhaps the measure is money, perhaps not. But whether the price is in dollars or pesos or francs or bushels or quarts, the price is still there. And what you receive, you must pay for. What you contribute, you will be rewarded for. There are no bargains. The exchange is always equal, regardless of how it may look at the moment. Retreat daily into communion with the universal subconscious mind. Find your center of consciousness in the quietness of your meditations. Only in this way can you truly know yourself for what you really are and thus absolve any confusion with what you seem to be? The knowledge of what you truly are is the center of your consciousness, the I, the observer, the self, unto whom all things are possible. Slay the spirit of gravity. We mustn't pursue these studies with long faces and depression. Life is laughter, excitement, and joy. Life is singing, dancing, and fellowship. The depression and the attitude of a grave face are never worth whatever wisdom they might produce. They defeat the God in man because they cannot laugh. There was a great writer who would say, "Let us slay the spirit of gravity, not by wrath, but by laughter. He who laughs is full of hope, but he whose face is stony has given way to despair, and thus has defeated himself no matter what he has learned." This is an adventure, a great excitement that fills the heavens with its grandeur. The good news I bring you, said Jesus, is that the kingdom of heaven is within. Can we possibly be depressive and continue on in our depression, learning that the entire power of the universe dwells within each of us? Can there possibly be anything saddening in learning that we can use this power to fill our lives with good and abundance? This is good news, big news, a news that calls for celebration, for singing, for dancing, for elation. The universe cradles us in everlasting arms. We are eternal, immortal, everlasting one, and The nature of our true being will work for us here on earth, even as it does in heaven. Let us, for the moment, focus upon the Lord's Prayer and to the language of this study so that we may thoroughly understand what Jesus knew when he said, "After this manner, therefore pray, everyone." And that goes like this: I know the universal subconscious mind dwells within me and is all powerful. May the truth of this power be revealed to me, and may I work in accord with it, for it is perfect. There is no limit to abundance, and the universe will provide me with all that I need. I let go of vanity, and I am not tempted into thinking evil through seeing evil. I know the real truth, and the real power is within me, one, eternal, and everlasting. All things are made from universal intelligence. All things exist in universal intelligence. All form proceeds from thought, and thought is the first cause for all things. We are able to choose what we will think, and once having chosen, nothing can stop our decisions from becoming real in the physical world. Thus, the law of attraction is the law of choosing thoughts. Whatever we choose to think, we will think, and whatever we think becomes real in our lives. Choose to think only that which you really desire. Refuse to entertain any thoughts of what you fear, and you will find you are on a straight and guided course to your goals by a power greater than you are. So, in review of what I have shared up to this point, every center of life force attracts these thought things that answer its mental vibrations. Because we think and and desire, we are praying every minute of our lives. To alter your life, you must alter your thinking. Every form and substance in the universe exudes subtle attraction, power and powerful in proportion to awareness. What man accepts, God creates. Vanity is a sense of independent ego and isolates a man from the universal subconscious man. What that means is that in order for you to do what you do, you have to have God involved at all times. Major lesson for me. Vanity breeds a sense of personal responsibility, and personal responsibility denies the power of the universal mind. A human being has no personal responsibility other than for the thought he or she chooses to think. He or she who lives by a doctrine of personal responsibility sees the entire universe as a foe. He or she who lives by a doctrine of attunement, meaning connection, sees the entire universe rushing to do and support them. Make your decisions in the mind and trust the universal mind to carry them out. Refuse to accept apparent delay and detour as anything other than the perfect path. Don't predict the manner in which the universal mind should carry you to your goals. It has the knowledge of all things and all times and thus automatically knows the perfect path. The human being has only a limited knowledge of a certain place and certain time, and thus by himself cannot know the perfect path. Don't batter and rail against unwanted circumstances, but let go and let God. Denying the power that guides you will leave you adrift with insurmountable problems. A man by himself is a microbe. A man attuned to his inner self is a universe. Mistakes are for learning and not to carry around with you as a burden. Refuse to accept guilt. God is in you and God is not guilty. Do not keep examining your goals when they are not yet attained. If you keep projecting lack of attainment into the universal subconscious mind, you can expect nothing else in return. When you have created something on the plane of mind, you must know that it is done. Nothing can stop it from manifesting in the physical world. Keep your faith and conviction no matter the apparent obstacles. Look for opportunity in each obstacle. The kingdom of heaven is a center of consciousness. Know it, and all things will be added unto you. Action of itself produces nothing. Only true action in the creation of the thought, and therefore true action springs from true thought. The one place the human can exercise will is at the center of his consciousness, where he can will to think whatever he wishes. Take more heed to your thought than to the world about you, for your thought brings the world about you. In meditation, ponder the meaning, all things indwelling in God, and God indwelling in all things. Be not busy or in a hurry. There's nothing to fight and nobody to beat. These are only things to learn and awareness to be obtained. God moves with sureness. Don't refuse what you seem to be with what you really are. Don't confuse what you seem to be with what you really are. You are never what you seem to be and always what you really are, which is within you at the center of your consciousness. Let the spiritual element rule every decision of your life. Refuse to accept depression or sadness. The universe sings and dances. Choose the thought. Once you accept it, the thing in its image will be yours. Spiritual treatment. Be sure that you successfully complete the 30-day mental diet. Only in this manner will you be able to completely demonstrate the power of positive thinking. Do not forget to seek your center of consciousness daily, just prior to your period of meditation. These procedures are living tools. Use them. Each of the meditations are spiritual treatments aimed at bringing your life into harmony with good, into harmony with the power of the universal subconscious mind. You may use these meditations to give spiritual treatments to your friends or loved ones, or to anyone you wish to help. Simply substitute he or she or the person's name where I is used in the text, and you will shortly make demonstrations. Our prompters are lulled when we give a treatment to someone else, and very often we are able to demonstrate for them before we are able to demonstrate for ourselves. Don't hesitate to tackle any of the problems of your friends or loved ones, but do not confide that you are treating for them. The wise man doeth his alms in secret. That means the wise man gives in secret. Beautiful. I definitely want to do that. Make no mistake about it. Especially dealing with these young people. Especially dealing with people who are in positions who don't get acknowledgement. So my information is telling me how to move effectively, very smoothly, like what they call smokeless fire. I like that. There is a very great book that you may be able to get or you're interested in it. It's called Thought Power by Annie Besant, spelled Besant, Besant, Annie, Annie. And the book is called Thought Power. This is the seventh meditation. I do not confuse what I seem to be with what I really am. I am never what I seem to be, and always what I really am, a host to the indwelling God. I am the living temple. I quiet the movements of my body, slow my breathing, glide deep into the recesses of my being, to the very center of my consciousness. Here in this place of infinite calm, I become one with the immortal self of the world, and I observe. My thoughts cross my consciousness in a never-ending stream. I do not create these thoughts. They come from the infinite reaches of the universal subconscious mind and are directed to my consciousness, for I have attracted them. I may choose my thoughts I desire. I have but to decide, and the ideas and images I have chosen are directed to me as I accept them. So will they manifest in my world. I alone decide what I think. Thus I decide my entire life. I bar the door of my mind to negative thoughts or thoughts of evil. The door is always open to admit the positive, the good, the beautiful, and the aspiring. I have complete confidence in the wisdom and the power of the universal subconscious mind. I do not predict the manner in which each of my thoughts will manifest. I have complete faith that God moves in the most perfect manner. There is no such thing as lack unless it is accepted. The universe has infinite supply, vigor and health, abundance, success are mine, for I choose only such thoughts. Love abounds in a universe where I am one with the immortal self, the universal subconscious mind, God. My every decision is answered from a perfect and inexhaustible source of power. Amen.